The stars stretched endlessly across the black sky, cold and distant, as if the universe itself had forgotten the tiny blue planet called Earth. On the edge of Epsilon 9's orbit, the ship Celestial Dawn drifted silently. Its crew, trained for the unknown dangers of deep space, felt an unusual tension in the air. Something was different tonight. Something urgent. Captain Arya Voss stood at the control panel, staring at a blinking light on the communications screen. The signal was faint, so faint it could have been mistaken for a glitch, but it was real. Human. Desperate. A cry for help that had traveled countless light years, cutting through the cold silence of the galaxy. Her heart pounded in her chest. "Captain," Lieutenant Ray said, his voice tight with disbelief. This is Earth. Someone is asking for help." Arya's eyes widened. Humans were scattered across colonies, many long forgotten by the galactic community. The galaxy had written humanity off as fragile, slow, and unimportant. Yet here it was, Earth, sending a message that shone through the darkness, begging for aid. It was a tiny voice trembling across the void, but it carried a strength she could feel. She pressed her hand against the console, trying to steady herself. "How long has this been going on?" she asked quietly. Ray shook his head. "It's hard to say. The signal is weak, but it's constant. Something is in trouble." Arya closed her eyes for a moment. She had seen many worlds in distress, but this was different. There was an almost human determination embedded in the signal, a plea that was more than fear. It was hope. And hope, she knew, could be stronger than any weapon. The Celestial Dawn shifted its course toward the origin of the signal. Outside Epsilon 9's two moons hung silently, their gray surfaces reflecting distant starlight. Arya felt the weight of responsibility pressing down on her shoulders. Every decision she made now could mean life or death for whoever, or whatever, was calling for help. The crew moved silently, each member sensing the gravity of the mission. Engineers checked the engines, ensuring they could make a swift jump to Earth's system if necessary. Scientists studied the strange frequency of the transmission, trying to decode its hidden messages, and in the center of it all, Arya watched the blinking signal as if it were a living thing, pulsing in rhythm with her own heartbeat. Suddenly, the ship's sensors picked up anomalies near the signal's source. Massive energy readings, far beyond anything humans had built, rippled through the nearby sector. Arya's stomach tightened. Whoever, or whatever, was sending this message was not just in trouble. They were in danger of something unimaginable. Ray leaned over her shoulder. "Captain, there's something else. Life forms. They're moving toward the planet at incredible speed. They're not human." Arya's brow furrowed. "What do you mean?" "Not human?" "I don't know," Ray admitted. "But they're large. Very large. And they're heading straight for the surface." Arya felt a strange mix of fear and awe. For centuries, humans had been seen as weak. Most alien civilizations ignored Earth entirely, considering it insignificant. But maybe, just maybe, Earth had allies we never imagined. As the ship approached the planet, the first images came into view. Cities that had once been vibrant were now broken and smoldering. Fires flickered across the horizon, smoke curling into the sky. There was chaos, destruction, but in the midst of it something remarkable appeared. Shadows moved, massive shapes among the ruins. Some were clearly animals, but others defied logic. Enormous creatures with glowing eyes, wings that spanned entire buildings, and bodies that rippled like living mountains. Arya's heart skipped a beat. She had studied legends, myths passed down through human history, stories of monsters, beasts, and guardians, but she never believed them real. And yet here they were, real, alive, responding to something deep inside the planet, something only humans could awaken. "Captain," Ray whispered, "I think Earth is fighting back." Arya took a deep breath and looked at her crew. Their faces mirrored her own mixture of fear, amazement, and determination. "Prepare for landing," she said firmly. "Whatever is happening down there, we're going to see it with our own eyes." As the Celestial Dawn descended toward Earth, the signal grew stronger, more insistent. It was a call for help, yes, but also a call for courage. And as the planet loomed closer, Arya felt a strange certainty settle in her chest. Humanity might have been small, fragile, and underestimated by the galaxy, but it had a strength that could not be measured by technology or numbers. Somehow she knew Earth was not done yet. The stars above remained silent, watching. But below, something ancient and powerful stirred. and the cry for help that had traveled across the galaxy was about to be answered in ways no one could have imagined. The celestial dawn cut through Earth's thin upper atmosphere, the hum of its engines blending with the distant roar of chaos below. Arya Voss gripped the controls tightly, her eyes scanning the cityscape that stretched beneath them. The once vibrant human cities were now shadows of their former selves. Buildings toppled, streets torn open, fires burning in long ribbons across the horizon. Smoke rose in thick clouds, blocking out the sun, painting the world in a somber gray light. "Captain," Lieutenant Ray said, his voice low and tense. "The aliens, they're everywhere. This isn't just a raid, it's a full-scale invasion." Arya swallowed hard. She had seen war in the outer colonies, but nothing like this. Earth was under attack by forces unlike any humans had faced before. Sleek, towering alien machines moved through the ruins, their energy weapons cutting down anything in their path. Humans tried to fight back, but their weapons were no match for the alien technology. Yet amid the fear and destruction, something remarkable began to unfold. Movement, shadows shifting among the ruins. At first it was subtle, small figures darting between buildings, but then they became larger, more defined. Wolves, massive and glowing-eyed, leapt across streets with impossible speed. Birds circled the sky in synchronized patterns, diving with precision to disrupt alien drones. Even more incredible, creatures that existed only in legend, dragons, giant bears, enormous serpents emerged from forests, mountains, and rivers. They were real, and they were coming to fight. Ray's mouth fell open. "Captain, are we seeing this?" Arya's heart raced. "We are," she whispered, almost in disbelief. "Earth is alive, and it's answering the call." The monsters didn't attack blindly. Their movements were purposeful, coordinated, as if guided by some unseen intelligence. Wolves swarmed alien patrols, driving them into traps. Birds guided human fighters to cover and pointed out weak spots in alien defenses. Giants of legend crushed alien war machines with bone-crushing strength. Every monster moved in perfect harmony with the chaos around it. Below, human soldiers and civilians watched in awe. They had expected death, hopelessness, the end of their world. Instead, they were witnessing a miracle, a planet rising to defend them. Children clung to their parents, pointing at enormous eagles circling above. Soldiers paused mid-fire, realizing that the monsters were allies, protectors sent to fight alongside them. Arya felt a lump in her throat. Humans had long believed themselves weak, fragile, insignificant in the galactic arena, but Earth was proving otherwise. This was not just a battle for survival, it was a demonstration of humanity's resilience, and of the power that could be awakened when humans and their planet stood together. "Prepare the landing craft," Arya ordered, her voice steady despite the awe in her heart. "We need to see this up close. We need to help." The celestial dawn descended, weaving between massive flying creatures and fiery explosions. The aliens noticed them, their weapons turning toward the ship, but even the most advanced firepower seemed hesitant in the face of Earth's defenders. It was as if the monsters themselves were daring anyone to challenge them. On the streets, human fighters took heart. Soldiers who had moments ago been paralyzed with fear now pushed forward, inspired by the beasts that fought beside them. Civilians joined in, not with weapons but with courage, helping to guide the creatures, rescue the wounded, and protect one another. The city became a battlefield unlike any the galaxy had ever witnessed, a symphony of chaos and courage, with humans and monsters united against a common enemy. Arya piloted the ship down to a safer zone near the city center. Flames reflected in her eyes as she watched a massive dragon slam into an alien cruiser, tearing through its armor as if it were paper. She realized, with a deep, stirring emotion, that humans had underestimated their own world. Earth itself was not passive. It was alive, ancient, and willing to fight to protect its children. Ray touched her shoulder lightly. "Captain, look at this. They're coordinating. Wolves, birds, bears, even the sea creatures near the coast. It's like the whole planet is working together." Arya nodded, unable to speak. Her eyes followed a massive whale breaching a coastal city, sending an alien ship spiraling into the air with its immense weight. The humans down below cheered, tears streaming down their faces. Hope, long buried beneath fear and despair, blossomed like a fragile flower in the ashes. As the celestial dawn landed, Arya felt a surge of determination. This was their world. These were their people, And against impossible odds, they were not alone. The monsters of Earth were answering a cry for help that had echoed across space, and humanity, small, fragile, underestimated, was about to rise in ways no one could imagine. The signal that had called across the galaxy had been heard, and Earth in all its power and mystery was awake. The city below was chaos incarnate. Alien war machines tore through streets and humans scrambled for cover, clutching what weapons they had left. But amid the destruction, something extraordinary was happening. The monsters of Earth, beasts of myth, legend, and forgotten memory, were answering the call. It began with small things. Wolves, their fur bristling and eyes glowing like molten gold, leapt from rooftops and alleyways, taking down alien drones with swift, precise attacks. Birds of prey swooped in formation, their talons tearing through sensors and weapons, guiding humans to safety. At first, soldiers could hardly believe what they were seeing. Whispers ran through the ranks. It's real. The legends are real. Then the larger monsters emerged. From the forests and rivers, creatures no one had seen alive in centuries came forth. Enormous bears smashed through alien armored units, their claws ripping through metal like paper. Serpents longer than buildings writhed through the streets, toppling tanks and vehicles in their path. Giant whales rose from flooded areas, their immense bodies smashing into hovering ships, sending explosions of water and fire into the air. Arya Voss watched from the bridge of the celestial dawn, tears welling in her eyes. She had heard stories of humanity's myths, the monsters told in bedtime tales or whispered in campfires. She had never imagined they could be real, let alone fight for humans. And yet here they were, answering the call of a world that had long been dismissed by the galaxy. Ray stood beside her, awestruck. "Captain, they're not just fighting randomly. They're coordinating. Look at the wolves. They're driving the drones toward the humans' weapons. The birds are marking targets. Even the whales are protecting escape routes." Arya nodded, her hands gripping the console. "Earth itself is fighting back. The planet isn't helpless. Humans aren't helpless. We just never realized our allies were here all along." On the ground, humans began to feel a spark of courage. Soldiers who had been pinned behind rubble now moved forward, firing at the alien invaders with renewed precision. Civilians ran to help the wounded, guided by the monsters' actions. Children cheered, pointing at the enormous creatures battling the sky. Hope surged through the streets like electricity. The aliens, cold and calculating, did not expect this. Their advanced technology and immense firepower had been enough to crush planets before. But Earth's defenders, human and monster alike, were something else entirely. One alien commander, a towering figure of silver light, roared in frustration as a massive bear threw its armored unit aside like a toy. Primitive planet, resisting. Impossible. It hissed, and yet it was possible. Every moment the humans adapted. Every roar, every wing beat, every monstrous strike gave them courage. Arya saw a small group of soldiers take cover behind a fallen building, guided by a pack of wolves. The wolves growled low and moved in protective circles, ensuring the humans could reload, aim, and strike. In that moment, the soldiers realized they were not alone. Not in fear, not in battle, not ever. Arya's voice came over the intercom to the landing teams below. "Stay calm. Follow the monster's lead. Protect each other. We are stronger together than they will ever expect." The message spread like wildfire. Humans and monsters moved in unison. Wolves, birds, bears, and serpents synchronized with soldiers' attacks. Even the sea's leviathans became shields, blocking alien projectiles and creating openings for humans to strike. Buildings that once seemed like traps now became strategic advantages, as humans and monsters used their environment together in ways the aliens could not predict. Amid the chaos, a small child ran through a war-torn street holding a tiny flare. She waved it toward a group of eagles circling above. The birds dove, scattering alien drones, and the child's smile reflected the hope growing in every human heart. It was a simple moment, but it carried the truth of the battle. Courage could not be measured by size or firepower alone. It came from the heart and from unity. Arya watched, her chest swelling with emotion. The galaxy may have dismissed humanity as weak, but this world was alive, ancient and indomitable. These monsters had been forgotten in stories, hidden in forests, seas, and mountains, but they had remembered humanity. They had answered a cry for help that echoed across the stars, showing that Earth would fight to protect its children. Ray looked at her with wide eyes. Captain, if this keeps up, we might actually turn the tide. Arya nodded, her gaze steady on the battlefield below. Yes, but the fight has just begun. They came to test humanity. They didn't know what they were waking. And now, they will learn. The city roared with life, both human and monstrous. Fire and smoke filled the air, but hope filled every heart. Earth had answered the call. Humanity was not alone. And for the first time in centuries, the galaxy would see what it truly meant to fight for life, together. The streets of Earth were no longer merely battlegrounds. They had become a stage for something extraordinary. Humans and monsters moved together with a rhythm that seemed almost magical. Wolves darted through alleyways, guiding soldiers toward weak points in alien formations. Eagles and hawks circled above, signaling approaching danger. Bears, dragons, and serpents tore through enemy machines, creating paths for human reinforcements to advance. Every movement, every roar, every strike was part of a larger harmony. A battle orchestrated by instinct, courage, and hope. Captain Arya Voss watched from the bridge of the celestial dawn, her heart swelling with pride and disbelief. Humans had always believed themselves small, insignificant in the galaxy. Many worlds dismissed them as weak. Yet here, under the smoke-filled sky and amid the ruins, she saw something they had forgotten themselves. Humanity's true strength lay not in their technology or numbers, but in their spirit. Look at them, she said softly to Lieutenant Ray, pointing toward a squad of soldiers moving through the rubble. A massive wolf ran beside them, nudging fallen humans to their feet, keeping them safe. This is what it means to fight for something bigger than yourself. This is what makes humans strong. Ray's eyes widened. Captain, it's like Earth itself is alive. Every creature, every monster knows what to do. They're protecting us, guiding us, and the humans, they're finally fighting back. Below, human soldiers moved with newfound confidence. Fear had not vanished entirely, but courage had replaced despair. Civilians helped each other, pulling the injured out of harm's way. A group of children ran ahead, waving glowing flares that guided eagles toward alien drones. One soldier, inspired by the sight, shouted, "We're not alone! Earth fights with us." The cry echoed through the city like thunder, giving everyone a surge of determination. The alien invaders began to falter. Their strategy, calculated and precise, could not account for the unpredictable coordination between humans and monsters. Energy weapons misfired as dragons collided with them. Armored vehicles were crushed under the weight of enormous bears, and serpents blocked entire streets, forcing alien units into traps. The invaders had underestimated Earth, and the price of that mistake was becoming painfully clear. Arya's hands tightened on the console as she guided the celestial dawn closer to the city. We need to support the humans on the ground. They're holding their own, but every bit of help counts. Send reinforcements and coordinate with their movements. Ray nodded. Already in progress in... Captain, look. He pointed to a massive figure emerging from a nearby mountain, an enormous dragon-like creature whose scales shimmered in the dim light. It roared, sending a shockwave that toppled an entire alien battalion. Humans cheered, rallying to its side, their courage renewed with every monstrous ally that joined the fray. As the battle raged, Arya noticed something remarkable. The humans were learning. They adapted to the monsters' instincts, reading their movements, coordinating attacks, and striking in ways no alien could predict. Wolves led them through complex urban terrain. Birds scouted ahead, warning of ambushes. Dragons and giant bears cleared paths and shielded soldiers from harm. It was a synergy unlike anything she had ever witnessed. Even the smallest acts mattered. A child rolled a small explosive into the path of an advancing alien mech, while a serpent blocked a narrow street to prevent reinforcements from being cut off. Every individual, human or monster, played a role in the battle. No one was too small, no act too insignificant. Arya felt a lump in her throat. She realized something profound. Humanity's strength was never measured in fleets or weapons. It was measured in heart, in courage, in the ability to unite with the world itself when all seemed lost. This was the reason humans had survived so long, despite the galaxy's doubt and derision. This was why Earth had been chosen to fight back. Ray's voice cut through her thoughts. Captain, the aliens are regrouping. They're preparing something big, but... He hesitated, eyes shining with awe. We're ready for them. Humans are ready. Earth is ready. Arya nodded slowly, her gaze fixed on the battle below. Yes, we are stronger together. Humans, monsters, Earth itself, they underestimated us. They thought we were weak, but they've never faced what we can do when we fight as one. The sky above was filled with the roar of dragons and the cries of eagles. Wolves raced through the streets, coordinating humans, while giants of legend smashed through enemy lines. Fire, smoke, and energy beams lit the city like a storm of fury and hope. And amid it all, humans found courage they had forgotten existed. They laughed, shouted, and cried as they fought, not just for survival, but for life, for their home, and for the creatures that had risen to protect them. Arya exhaled deeply, a sense of calm determination settling in her chest. The aliens had come to conquer, to test humanity, to dismiss them once and for all. But they had awakened something far older and more powerful. Something that could not be defeated by technology alone. Something that was alive in every human heart, and in every living creature that called Earth home. The battle was far from over, but for the first time, the humans and the monsters knew they could win. Together, the alien commander's voice boomed across the battlefield, cold and metallic. Primitive planet? Resisting? Impossible. It hovered above the ruins, its energy field glowing like molten steel. Every alien unit below surged forward, desperate to crush what they believed was nothing more than a weak, insignificant species. But the monsters of Earth and the humans who now fought beside them would not be silenced. From the streets and forests, from oceans and mountains, the creatures pressed forward. Wolves leapt from rubble, striking alien drones with deadly precision. Eagles and hawks guided humans to weak points in alien lines. Bears charged, their sheer size toppling armored units. Dragons breathed fire across enemy formations, while serpents and leviathans blocked escape routes and protected retreating civilians. Earth itself seemed alive, moving in defense of its children. Arya Voss gripped the console of the Celestial Dawn, eyes wide with awe. Ray, it's happening. They're losing control. They never expected this. They thought we were weak. Ray nodded, his voice tight with disbelief. It's more than that, Captain. They're terrified. Every move we make, every strike from the monsters. It's unpredictable. They can't plan for it. They can't win. Below, human soldiers advanced with renewed vigor. They had learned to read the monsters' movements, anticipating where wolves would lead them or where dragons would strike next. Even the smallest humans played a role. Children ran messages between units, carrying flares that guided birds or marked weak points. Civilians lifted debris to create barricades, giving soldiers cover. Every individual became a part of the greater defense, a single note in a symphony of courage. A massive bear slammed into an alien war machine, crushing it entirely. Humans cheered, inspired by the sheer power of the creatures fighting alongside them. "We can do this," shouted one soldier. "We're not alone." Arya felt tears prick her eyes. Humanity had been written off by the galaxy. They had been considered weak, fragile, insignificant. But now, watching humans fight alongside monsters, she realized the truth. Strength was not measured by numbers or technology. It was measured in courage, heart, and the ability to unite with the living world around them. The alien commander growled, sensing the tide turning. How can this be? They are coordinating, resisting, winning. Its voice wavered for the first time, betraying the fear it had never expected to feel. The monsters pressed harder. Wolves led humans to high vantage points, giving them the advantage. Eagles and hawks struck from above, taking out sensors and weapons. Dragons, serpents, and bears tore through the alien ranks, creating openings that human fighters could exploit. Even the sea rose in a tidal defense, leviathans breaking alien ships apart with massive force. A group of children, hidden behind a collapsed building, pointed toward a line of advancing aliens. A massive wolf leapt from the shadows, scattering the invaders and giving the children a chance to escape. The humans followed, their confidence growing with every successful strike. Fear was being replaced by hope, hope by courage, and courage by action. Arya's voice rang out over the intercom. "Keep moving forward. Protect each other. Strike where the monsters strike. We fight together and we will win together." Every soldier, every civilian, every monster felt it. The energy, the heartbeat of the planet, the unity that no alien could break. The aliens were strong, yes, but they had underestimated something far older, far wiser. Earth itself, and the people who called it home. Ray looked at Arya, eyes shining. Captain, they're starting to retreat. The aliens are falling back. Humanity, Earth, is winning. Arya nodded, swallowing hard. Not just winning, surviving, thriving. The galaxy thinks we are fragile, but we are not. Earth fights with us, for us, and together, we are unstoppable. In the sky above the ruined city, dragons roared, eagles circled triumphantly, and leviathans rose from flooded streets. On the ground, bears, wolves, and serpents moved with deadly grace, protecting humans and striking down invaders. The city, once a place of fear and despair, now pulsed with life, hope, and unshakable courage. And in that moment, humanity realized something profound. The galaxy had been wrong. They were not weak. They had allies older than time, guardians hidden in myths, and the spirit to fight when the odds were impossible. They had Earth itself, alive and ready to defend them. The alien commander, sensing defeat, attempted a desperate strike, but coordinated attacks from humans and monsters stopped it. A dragon leapt, a bear charged, a wolf darted through its defenses, and humans pressed their advantage. The impossible had become reality. Arya exhaled deeply, a mixture of relief and awe. The turning point had come. Humans were no longer just survivors, they were warriors. Earth had answered their cry for help, and the galaxy would soon remember humans were never truly alone. The sky over Earth burned with fire and energy. Alien ships swarmed above ruined cities, firing beams of light that turned buildings into ash. On the ground, humans ran alongside monsters, dodging blasts and striking back with everything they had. The roar of dragons, the growl of wolves, the trumpeting of leviathans, it all blended into a symphony of courage. This was the final stand, the moment that would decide the fate of Earth. Captain Arya Voss gripped the controls of the Celestial Dawn, her jaw tight with determination. "We end this now," she said. "No retreat, no surrender. Humanity and Earth will not fall today." Lieutenant Ray's eyes reflected the chaos outside. "It's all or nothing, Captain. Are you ready?" Arya nodded. "We've never been more ready. The monsters are with us. Humanity is with us. We fight together." Below, the aliens had gathered their full force. The commander, a towering figure of cold light, hovered above the city, its presence radiating power. Its voice echoed across the battlefield. "Primitive beings, you will be erased. This planet will belong to us." But the humans and monsters were undeterred. Wolves led squads through the streets, scouting for weak points. Eagles and hawks dived from the skies, disabling enemy sensors. Bears and dragons smashed through alien vehicles, their strength unmatched. Leviathans rose from flooded rivers, slamming into hovering ships and throwing them into the air. Every strike was coordinated, every move precise. Arya maneuvered the Celestial Dawn into position above the alien commander's flagship. She could see the alien soldiers bracing for attack, unaware of what was coming. "Ray," she said, "target the command ship. We hit it together with the ground forces. Strike now while the monsters and humans hold the line." Ray nodded, his fingers flying over the controls. "Weapons ready. Target locked." On the streets, a group of soldiers guided by massive wolves approached the alien commander's ground units. Dragons roared as they swooped down, breathing fire in precise strikes. Bears and serpents blocked escape routes, trapping the invaders. Humans, inspired and fearless, fired at critical points, striking with an accuracy that defied their previous inexperience. The alien commander's energy field shimmered, trying to repel the assault, but it could not withstand the combined power of Earth's defenders. Wolves darted beneath the force fields, biting through wires and disabling weapons. Dragons struck from above, weakening shields. Bears and leviathans charged relentlessly, giving humans the openings they needed. A child, no older than 10, ran alongside a massive bear, pointing toward an alien turret. With trembling hands, the child activated a flare, guiding a group of soldiers to take it out. The bear growled in encouragement, and the humans pressed forward. Courage, determination, and trust between species had become a weapon stronger than any alien technology. Arya took a deep breath and gave the final order. "All weapons, fire at the command ship. Coordinated strike with the ground forces, now." Energy beams streaked across the sky, missiles and fire converging on the alien flagship. Dragons breathed fire, serpents slammed into support ships, and humans fired in perfect timing. The alien commander screamed, its voice echoing with rage and fear. The shields faltered, sparks flying, energy surging uncontrollably. With a massive explosion, the command ship crumpled, torn apart by the coordinated assault of humans and monsters. Alien units, witnessing the destruction of their leader, faltered and retreated. The sky, once filled with terror, now shimmered with the golden light of victory. On the ground, humans cheered, tears streaming down their faces. Wolves barked in triumph, dragons roared, and leviathans roared their victory from the oceans. Bears lumbered through the streets, protecting the last few pockets of resistance. Earth had stood, unbroken, and humanity had fought with courage unmatched in the galaxy. Arya watched from the bridge of the celestial dawn, her chest swelling with pride and emotion. "We did it," she whispered. "Earth is safe, for now, but more than that. Humanity has been reminded of its strength. We are never alone, not while the world itself fights with us." Rey placed a hand on her shoulder, voice soft. "They underestimated us. All of them. The galaxy thought we were weak. They never imagined the monsters of Earth would answer our call. And now, the galaxy will remember us." Below, humans and monsters moved together among the ruins, tending to the wounded, guiding survivors, and watching as the last alien ships fled into the void. It was not just a victory, it was a lesson, a statement, a promise. Humanity was resilient, Earth was alive, and together, nothing could defeat them. As night fell over the city, fires still smoldering and monsters returning to forests, oceans, and mountains, Arya looked up at the stars. Somewhere out there, the galaxy had witnessed the impossible. Humans were not fragile. They were fighters, and Earth would answer any cry for help, no matter how far across the cosmos it came. The monsters of Earth had returned to their homes, but their presence remained in every heart. Humans had learned that courage could come from anywhere, even from legends. And as Arya watched, she knew that the galaxy had never truly seen what it meant to fight for life, with the world itself standing by your side. The smoke of battle still hung in the sky, streaked with the fading light of the setting sun. Streets that had been torn apart were quiet now, except for the soft rumble of monsters moving back to their homes, and the occasional cheers of humans emerging from hiding. The city was scarred but alive, and for the first time in centuries, humanity felt something they had long forgotten: hope. Captain Arya Voss stepped off the Celestial Dawn, her boots crunching over broken glass and debris. She could see soldiers tending to the wounded, children reuniting with parents, and neighbors helping one another rebuild what they could. Every corner of the city carried the echoes of bravery, both human and monstrous. Rey walked beside her, looking out over the streets with awe. "They're gone," he said softly. "The aliens have retreated. The city, Earth, survived." Arya nodded, but her eyes were drawn to the forests, rivers, and mountains surrounding the city. Wolves slinked silently back into the trees. Eagles circled the sky one last time before disappearing into the distance, and dragons returned to hidden caves, their massive wings folding as they vanished from sight. Even the leviathans slipped beneath the ocean's surface, leaving ripples in their wake. "They're not just creatures," Arya said, her voice barely above a whisper. "They're guardians. They've been watching over humans for centuries, and tonight, they proved they would fight for us." A small child ran past them, waving to a wolf that lingered at the edge of the city. The wolf lowered its massive head, nuzzling the child gently before disappearing into the shadows. It was a simple moment, but it captured the truth of the day. Humans were never truly alone, not while the world itself was alive and willing to defend them. Rey glanced at Arya, eyes shining. "Do you think the galaxy will believe it? That humans are stronger than they imagined?" Arya smiled, a mixture of pride and determination on her face. "They don't need to believe it yet. We know the truth. Humanity is not fragile. We are survivors, fighters, and now we have allies older than time itself. The galaxy will learn soon enough." In the distance, a group of humans worked together to repair damaged homes. Children carried water, neighbors cleared rubble, and soldiers distributed supplies. The monsters may have returned to their homes, but their presence remained in every action of humanity that night. Courage, unity, and resilience had been awakened. Arya raised her eyes to the stars. For centuries, humans had been dismissed by the galaxy. They had been seen as weak, incapable, and small. But tonight, the universe had seen something it could not ignore. Humans could fight, adapt, and survive against impossible odds. And when the world itself joined them, nothing could stand in their way. Ray's voice broke the silence. Captain, look at them. All of them. Humans, monsters, Earth. They survived because they never gave up. Arya nodded, tears welling in her eyes. They survived because they fought together. They survived because they believed. That's what makes humanity unstoppable. As night deepened, Arya walked through the city, witnessing moments of quiet heroism. A dragon's claw mark protected a collapsed building, creating a safe path for survivors. Wolves stood guard over a family reunited in a street. Even the distant ripples of leviathans in the oceans reminded humanity that the planet itself was watching, alive and protective. The alien threat had been driven away, but the lesson remained. Humans were never alone. Legends were not just stories, they were warnings, promises, and protectors. And now the galaxy would see what it had forgotten, that humans, together with their world, could overcome any force, any danger, any enemy. Arya turned to Ray one last time. We came to answer a call, she said softly. But tonight we learned something even greater. Humans are never helpless. We are not fragile. We are part of something bigger, something eternal. Ray smiled. And we'll be ready if the galaxy ever forgets that again. As dawn broke over the horizon, sunlight touched the city and forests alike. The smoke began to clear, revealing streets filled with survivors, buildings still standing, and monsters returning to their homes. The world was wounded but alive, and humanity had been reminded of its power, courage, and unity. Somewhere deep in the forests, oceans, and mountains, the monsters watched silently, their eyes gleaming with understanding. They had answered a cry for help, and humanity had risen in return. The planet itself had spoken, and humans had listened. For the first time in the galaxy's memory, Earth had stood as one. Humans, monsters, and the world itself united, and humanity had survived. Stronger, braver, and unbroken. Captain Arya Voss looked up once more at the endless sky. Somewhere beyond the stars, other civilizations might be watching, learning the truth. But for now, Earth had its heroes. Humans had their allies, and life, fragile yet indomitable, had triumphed. A new dawn had arrived, and humanity, together with the monsters of Earth, would face the future with courage and hope, ready for any cry for help that echoed across the galaxy.